What's going on, YouTube? Chris here. I want to bring you all an update of an altcoin that I've been looking at, just studying a little bit on here, and I think this one may have some promise down the road here. And the coin that I'm talking about, and this is not financial advice, not telling you go out to get this altcoin, anything like that, but it's something that I'm looking at here, is Zcash. And the reason why I want to take a look at Zcash here, we're at $61.27. We're up 3.87%. But what I wanted to point out is that on the 18th of November, Zcash is going to go through a halving. And I wanted to point this out to you. So I wanted to read a little something before we get into the actual technical analysis for Zcash. So this is by Martin Young. This is CoinGape.com. And what this goes on to say is, how will Zcash, ZEC having on November 18 impact the prices? Privacy coin Zcash will be undergoing its first halving event in around a week's time, but does it really matter, and what will happen to the ZEC prices? On November 18th, Zcash inflation rate will halve from 25% to 12.5% as the privacy-focused altcoin has its first halving event. The coin has been hampered by extremely high inflation since its launch in 2016, but a series of halvings every 4 years will decrease it substantially. And what this goes on to say here is on November 18th, Zcash will undergo its first halving, which will drop the inflation rate from 25 to 12.5. But will it matter? And where does Zcash fit into the crypto monetary stores of value anyways? And then this is a little chart you can check out yourself. I'll link this in the description for you so you can read this as well. But basically what this goes on to talk about is how Zcash may benefit from the halving that's coming up, how it will actually make the inflation go down on Zcash. And Zcash is one that it's like Bitcoin. It doesn't have, hundreds of millions of supply for Zcash. It goes on to say, Wang here, if people want to know if halvings have any real impact on prices, pay attention to ZEC's halving in 11 days because it's one where supply reduction is actually significant relative to the liquidity. Not 100% sure, but my bet is on it reversing the multi-year bleed for ZEC. Initial targets for any type of real price recovery for ZEC would be the $100 level. A sustained move above that would reinforce the halving effect on inflation. So if we go back here to ZEC and take a look, one thing that I'm paying attention to is if we could get a daily candle close, this is going to be on the daily here, a daily candle close up above this 200 moving average, that would be a good thing for us. And then we potentially could go back up and test around $65.74. That's going to be the overhead resistance that we're looking at next. And we're just going to work our way up here. The next one would be up there around $75.79, then up to around $85.98. But what I'm looking at here as I'm paying attention to this, we formed a bottom for Zcash here, a bit of a double bottom, right? And if we get into some of these indicators here, I want to go through a few with you. So our momentum starting to pick up here. We're getting higher lows there. We're at 6.44 for our momentum. So that's a good thing, starting to move to the upside. Want to take a look at our relative strength index next. RSI is at 52. We're starting to get a little hook with some more volume here, so that could be good. Get a little buying pressure in there. We always want to see the volume. And then let's get into another one here. Let's take a look at our MACD. And our MACD, we have had a bullish cross here. So this is one for me that I'm paying attention to and saying, hey, by November 18th, are we going to get a little pumped where we may start going back up and testing some of these higher levels? I think most likely we will, guys. And this isn't financial advice, but typically when these halvings come around at some point, either before, during, or maybe even sometimes after, these whales can be tricky. You will get one of those pumps and you'll get an explosive move. So I'm just kind of looking at this, paying attention to it. It's just slowly trying to ladder into a position and just going to see here what happens with Zcash. And, if we get into the technicals as well, we're looking at a 4 sell, 10 neutral, and a 14 buy. Oscillators 1 sell, 9 neutral, and a 1 buy. So basically everything's neutral. The momentum they're saying is a sell with the 6.44, and then MACD level they're showing as a buy. But the momentum is starting to gain some strength there as we were taking a look at. But if you get something from this, guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. This isn't financial advice. Just want to put it on your radar there. God bless you all. Take care.